ISIS and Al-Qaeda, they believed in an ideology of faith, right? They were following kind of a god, if you will, and that's the difference between CJNG and the cartels is it's a narco culture, it's money, it's power, right? And that's a very different kind of thing. But that would be the difference of the two that I think is super fascinating. And I think that might be also the reason why I think we could almost dismantle the cartel if we did it the right way, because it's not an ideology of belief.
The opinions of the guests and host are their own and do not represent the opinions of IRONCLAD, the Border Patrol, or the Department of Homeland Security.
Welcome to the show, everybody. You guys already know we got Kat here with us today, and you guys have seen her before, Bruna. She is our producer. What we're going to do today is we asked recently our social media followers and in the comments to give us any questions that they want us to answer. And so we have a list of questions that we want to address. Some of them I think would be more suited for me, some for Kat, some for both. And so we're going to let Bruna kind of mediate the whole thing, and let's get to it. Bruna, you ready?
All right. Well, like you said, Vince, we've got such good questions. We put out a call on Instagram, on X, on YouTube, and our audience has been amazing as always in providing some very thought-provoking questions. So let's just have fun and answer to the best of your ability. Obviously, we're just here to learn from each other and report based on everything that we've learned on interviews and Kat doing her dispatches. So you both are just doing an incredible job at getting information out to people about this very polarizing topic. So I first wanted to say you're both amazing, and I'm very, very blessed to work with both of you. All right, let's get started. So the first question we have here, I believe it was from someone on X. Vince, I'm going to give you this one. So what parallels do you see between the CJNG and ISIS or Al-Qaeda in terms of tactics and structure?
What has been probably one of the first things I noticed, this is way before I started doing kind of any journalism on it, was watching some of the social media pages post the torture videos that they did when they're killing like the other opposing force or people that have kind of turned their back on the cartel. And it's very similar. And I think it's online, if not matching what ISIS and Al-Qaeda were doing, from beheadings to how they were just doing their murders. And it almost felt like it was a way of matching the energy of the terrorism level. And that created a big scare and fear with a lot of people. And then using social media, I think, Al-Qaeda and ISIS, they were using social media pretty early on, putting full production videos together. And CJNG is doing that as well. And then as well as they have like the military, the military tactics arm of them. That's something that both of those have as well. ISIS has, they had well thought out uniforms and like digi patterns. And then now you see CJNG, they'll put their video out where they have, their gear on. So very similar. And I almost feel that they're taking a lot from the kind of the psychology of how they do it and presenting it to the world the way they do it as well. So that's what I believe.
Do you want to add anything else to that one, Kat?
No, yeah, I fully agree with that. I think that's the main parallel, is that component of psychological warfare and propaganda, where they're just using the extreme levels of violence and acts that they're committing, putting it on such a public forum to incite fear in everyone who's watching, whether they're removed from it or close to it. It doesn't matter, because it incites this, very textbook fear of this is a very extremist group, very violent. I guess the one difference is that for like CJNG in this case, they're creating this central ideology, and it's not Islam, it's the glamorization of a narco culture, and it's very scary. And so that they are exactly the same in the sense of that psychological warfare and the way that they post this propaganda so publicly. I fully agree with that.
Yeah, I think that's a great note, is that ISIS and Al-Qaeda, they believed in an ideology of faith, right? They were following kind of a god, if you will, and that's the difference between CJNG and the cartels is it's a narco culture. It's
Mhm.
money, it's power, right? And that's a very different kind of thing. But that would be the difference of the two that I think is super fascinating. And I think that might be also the reason why I think we could almost dismantle the cartel if we did it the right way, because it's not an ideology of belief. Like, people aren't willing to die for it.